So let's take that to the News Center this afternoon. We have a couple of NewsNation political contributors. Denise Gitsham, who's here in New York, which is great for me, Kurt Bardella. Kurt Bardella joins us as well. If you knew Kurt, you could have come in. Denise is here.
Oh, we missed you,
I didn't
Kurt.
get the invitation, Denise. You got my number. You can let me know where you're going to be.
Come on.
Good. So because you're here, Denise, you can go first. So 4 days to get this figured out. A, you think they will with some sort of reform for DHS? And if they don't, how much does it matter in terms of the logistics on Capitol Hill?
Well, sure doesn't sound like anyone's very optimistic about it. I mean, they're coming out of the gate saying this ain't happening. The only thing I wish would happen, and this is maybe just my wish list that may never be a possibility, is that both sides seem to have really reasonable expectations that I think a majority of Americans could agree on.
Yeah, so for example, let's stick up the Democratic quote-unquote demands on the screen, guys, while Denise answers this. But, like, for example, what's reasonable from a Republican perspective that you could say, all right, this makes sense, let's do this?
Well, obviously body cams, which everyone's already agreed to.
Already.
I think that, like, the notion that you should make sure that they're an American before they go into detention is actually a legitimate, reasonable thing.
Yeah.
It seems very constitutionally aligned. I think things like firing Kristi Noem are overtly political positions that the Democratic base really would love to hear it salivates at, but it gets us nowhere. And I actually think that the notion on the Republican side, the demands that people like Senator Schmidt are proposing, and I think it's called the Protect America Act, some great acronym somewhere out there, is about, like, ensuring that constitutional realities aren't overcome by political realities. Ending sanctuary cities is one of those examples. Okay,
Kurt, pick up on that. What makes sense? I'm not even going to ask you whether you think they'll get it done. You know, we'll see. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, right? But what makes sense in terms of reform at ICE and Border Patrol and getting this DHS funding based on some of that?
I think bringing into alignment the same rules that govern federal law enforcement for entities that are under the Justice Department, like FBI, ATF, DEA. I think making sure that DHS has those same regulations and enforcements and accountability measures makes a lot of sense. When DHS was created back in the wake of 9/11, this was actually one of the biggest concerns about having ICE under DHS was that they are not trained in the same way that agents under the FBI, under the Justice Department umbrella are. They're trained not to deal with U.S. citizens, they're trained to deal with illegal immigrants. Well, now we have a situation where they are interacting very regularly with U.S. citizens. They don't have the same training, they don't have the same measurements that you need like under the Justice Department. So let's make all law enforcement and the federal government under the same banner, under the same standards and the same accountability.
All right, next thing, I do want to talk about Jeffrey Epstein and that investigation for a moment for a couple of reasons. Number one, moments ago, we had the video of Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie, Democrat and Republican, on their way into the Department of Justice to see these unredacted files that are being put on display. So they're apparently in there now. Other members of Congress are either going or signing up to go this week to see that. Now, Ghislaine Maxwell, meantime, was called in to testify behind closed doors today, took the fifth. I want to put up what her lawyer said. David Oscar Marcus said, on my advice, Ghislaine Maxwell will respectfully invoke her Fifth Amendment right to silence and decline to answer questions. Ms. Maxwell is prepared to speak fully and honestly if granted clemency by President Trump. Only she can provide the complete account. Some may not like what they hear, but the truth matters. So what about this, Denise? She basically said she could clear both President Trump and former President Clinton if she was allowed to speak, but she wants
well, obviously she's going to dangle that out for President Trump. Look, that's good lawyering. You know, I'm not a lawyer anymore, but that's good lawyering.
I thought you were once a lawyer.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, yes, I'm a recovering attorney.
Right.
But I think that it's smart. You know, here's the reality is keeping her behind bars and not getting all the information out that she really wants is something that doesn't serve justice either, right? And there's a sense that she's taking the blame and the fall for a lot of things, and I'm not saying, I mean, look, she deserves all of it. I'm gonna pile on as much of that, you know, as many logs on that fire as possible. She's guilty as all get out. But I want her to sing like a canary. Like, I want her to expose everything because we can only truly feel like justice is done once we know the truth. And until she speaks, we really won't. And I don't even know how much she knows, but every little bit matters.
You think Trump's going to give her, is that what you're saying?
You know, it depends on whether he believes her or not. I mean, does he believe that it's going to be more incriminating for him and others in his administration, like Howard Lutnick? You know, this is a real issue. It's more than just about him at this point.
Commerce Secretary, former next door neighbor, apparently reported business associate and the rest. Kurt, what's your take on all this?
You know, I would be more interested in actually having the unredacted files put out in public before we hear what Maxwell has to say, because some of these bad actors, they're being protected right now by a redaction process. Even the Justice Department admits they don't really know how they did it. That's why we have members of Congress like Khanna and Massey looking at some of these documents in what's called in camera at the Justice Department. Like, we have some of these answers right now. For whatever reason, the Justice Department has decided not to make them public. It can't be because they're worried about protecting victims. We already saw their document dump. They reveal some of the victims' identities. So that's not the answer. So why don't we just find out what we have, what's being withheld right now, and then we can see if Maxwell has anything to add to it that we don't already have in documents.
Well, I just want to say what they've given is exponentially more, 3 million more documents than any Biden DOJ ever gave, just for the record.
Sure. Hey, listen, I'm for, I mean, clearly when you look at the dates of the documents, there is room to go around to blame people going all the way back to the Bush White House, to the Obama General Counsel's office, to the Trump administration, to the Biden administration. Anybody who has played any role in protecting these predators should be brought to justice and should be tarred and feathered publicly.
Kurt and Denise for president advice.
Yeah, we could do worse. We could do worse. Good to see you, Denise, in person. Kurt, always good to talk to you.